Hey guys, this is Brent with Western Equipment, and in 2021, John Deere had a full redesign of their Z500 series, all the way from the engine to the styling and to the features. Now these are all things that you are going to want to see, so if you'll stick with me here, we'll get started. The first change you're going to see is going to be in the model numbers themselves. In 2020, John Deere had 5 mowers in the Z5 lineup that were the Z525E, the Z535M, the Z540M, the Z535R, and the Z540R. Now in 2021, they have gone to only 4 models in this lineup, being the Z515E, the Z530M, the Z530R, and the Z545R. One of the most notable upgrades to this Z500 series is going to be the addition of the ROPS, or rollover protection system. Now in 2020 and prior, these size of mowers did not have this system, and it's going to be a great addition for 2 reasons. One being safety. Now with having this rollover protection system, if you get in those instances where we're mowing on a slope or a hill and this mower were to happen to turn over, this is going to keep that mower from rolling over on top of you. So a great addition for safety. Now also the second reason is by having this ROPS system, you've made attachability a lot more easily done by being able to add things such as a canopy or your light system here and multiple other attachments. One great feature about this ROPS system is that John Deere has gone in and redesigned the way this system pins into place and has also made it to where it's easily foldable. So now you can reach in, pull out on your pin system, do this on both sides, and then you're able to fold that ROPS back. And this is a great thing for if we're mowing under those low-hanging trees, or maybe we're needing to get this into the shed, and then whenever we go back to mowing, we can easily pin that back up into place, and you're ready to go mow. The next upgrade that you're really going to want to see is the newly redesigned control panel over here on the right-hand side of the mower. So we'll start by talking about the Z5Es and Z5Ms, as there was very minimal changes made there, but the main one that you're going to notice is that at your hour meter, it'll now be a little bit bigger, and it will include an electronic fuel gauge. Now before, your only option was a sight gauge here at the front of the mower, but now on those E and M models, you will have that electronic gauge here at the front. Now as far as moving back on the panel, we're still going to have the same PTO engagement here, and we'll still have that standard choke and throttle lever that we had before. But moving to the Z530R and the Z545R, you're going to see a completely redesigned instrument panel here. This is going to be much like what we see on the John Deere X300s. So whenever you turn this panel on, you're going to see not only our fuel gauge there, but we're also going to have our hour meter, we'll have our battery voltage meter, we'll have a symbol there telling us whether we're in park or not, and we also are going to have an RPM gauge over here on the side that's going to tell us when we're at that optimal speed for cutting. Here on the Z545R, we have a different throttle system here. Now this is only going to be on the Z545R, as the 545R is equipped with an EFI engine, which is a fuel-injected engine. Now you'll also notice that with this throttle system, we do not have a choke system anymore, because with a fuel-injected engine, much like your car, there is no need for that choke. On the 530R, you will not have this system. You'll still have the standard choke and throttle lever, but on the 545R, you'll now have this 3-speed selection here, going from min to eco to max. Now, a couple of things that I'd point out here is that you'll notice here on the throttle, we have these markings that are going to match up with our RPM gauge on our display. So back here at the bottom on our min, we'll notice that we're not in the green, which means that we do not want to cut in this speed. But whenever we go to eco or to max, we're going to match up green with green, showing that both of these positions are okay to cut in. Now, a little bit of the differences between these two. Max is going to be the position that we want to be in when we're cutting that very tall grass. We have those very heavy cutting applications where we're doing a lot of that heavy cutting. And then our eco mode is going to be great for those times where maybe we're keeping that grass shorter, maybe we're mulching it, we're cutting 2 or 3 times a week, or we just have those leaves and different debris and stuff that we're wanting to chop up. So from here, guys, I'll go ahead and turn this on and show you how this system works. So like I said, no choke here. I'm just gonna turn the mower on. Now when we start out, like I said, we're in the min position to start. So when you start the mower on this 545R, you will be in the minimum throttle, and you'll notice that our RPMs are all the way down here at the bottom. Now when I push the eco mode, you'll see it instantly jump up, and we're in the middle range of our optimal cutting speed. So this is going to be great for those mulching applications and that thin grass application. And then once we move up to max, you can see now we're at the very top. This is the speed we're going to want to be at for those heavy cutting applications. And then once we hit that min button, we jump all the way down there back to our idle position, and then we can turn off the mower. So this next feature is going to be a standard feature on the Z530R and the Z545R, but can also be an option on the Z5Es and Z5Ms, and that's going to be our 4-point LED light kit. So as you see right here in the 5R operator station, we already have this switch installed. So I'll go ahead and turn the key on, turn that switch on, and now you can see that 4-point light kit. So we have 2 in the front there in the frame, and then we also have 1 on each side here mounted to our ROPS. Now this is going to be a great system for whether we're doing those early morning cuts or those late night cuts. But also the great thing about this is not only do we have those front lights that are going to show our cutting path, but we also have these lights off to the side that are going to show and brighten up the areas around us as well. So the next upgrade is going to be the height of cut pin system. Now before in 2020 on the E and the M models, this was going to be a hand raised system, and on the R you had the foot raised system. Now on every single model across the Z5 lineup, you will have the foot pedal here to raise and lower the deck, and then you also have this very simple magnetic pin design. Now as you can see here guys, it's as simple as pulling out this pin, selecting our height from 4 to 1 in 1/4 inch increments, dropping that in. That, like I said, that does magnetize there. You have to give it a little bit of a pull, dropping that in, and then to let that down to the correct height, we're going to push in on our pedal, push down on our button here, and that lowers that down to that height. Now, like I said, this is a very simple system, so if you watch me change heights here, I'll go ahead and push this up. Now notice also when I push that up, it locked the deck into place. But whenever I change heights here, I'll go from 3 inch up to 2 inch. Now watch inside and see that bar move. And as it moves, once it hits that pin, it's stopping. So a very simple system there, guys, that allows that deck to move. It's very smooth. Every time we go up with the pedal, we're going to go into that locking position, and then it's just very simple to change those heights, push that pedal in, release it, and go down to the next height. Next is going to be the redesigned foot platform. Now this is something, guys, that a lot of people don't think much about, but it is important here, as this is what's going to give us access to the deck. So on the new Z5s, this is going to be an easy raise and pull out to get to the underneath of our deck. Now before, in 2020, we actually had a bolt here that we had to remove before getting underneath this deck. So this has changed to make this very easy. We can either flip this open or take it completely out. Now here, like I said, we have the Z545R, so you're going to see every feature available on this foot platform, which is going to be this bottom floor mat. We also have a toe board floor mat, and we're going to have these foot pegs along with this heavy duty suspension that's actually going to help buffer a lot of that vibration on the ride of this machine. Now, when we're moving down to the M, things that you are not going to have is you won't have the suspension here, but rather you'll have bumpers that mount here that will rest on the frame. And then also you will not have the foot pegs or the toe board floor mat, but you will get the bottom floor mat. And then on the E, since it'll be the most basic model, you won't have any of these floor mats, but you will still have the single bumpers underneath here. So the next thing is something that is very, very important to every operator, guys, and that's going to be these seats. And what you'll see is across the whole lineup, from the E trim level up to the R is upgrades in the seats. Now what we're looking at here, like we said, is the Z545R. So the R series seat is going to look just like what you see here. You're going to have the green trim, you're going to have the Deere logo here in the seat, and you're also going to notice a change in the height. So this is changed from a 21-inch high back seat up to a 22.5. So that is just adding to that comfort factor, just gives you that extra support. And then one also really great feature that was added to the M and the R is going to be the Comfort Glide system. So as you can see here, guys, you now have that suspension that's going to go fore and aft, as well as the suspension that's going to go up and down, because we all know that all of these seats before have always had a spring suspension to add to that ride quality. But in the previous years, the Comfort Glide was only available on the Z9 and the Z7s. So John Deere has brought that feature down to the Z5, as now they've realized that people are spending more and more time in these mowers and needing that more and more comfort on these Z5 series. Now, the changes as far as to the M trim level is that you're going to have gone from an 18-inch back seat up to a 20, and then on the E trim level, you're going to have gone from a 15-inch high back to an 18-inch high back. So another addition that you're going to see here at the seats is the addition of the seat belt. And the reason that this is put in is because now you have that rollover protection system. And whenever you have this rollover protection system, you want to have that seat belt to be able to put that on when you're mowing on that unlevel ground, to be able to keep you in the machine to make sure that this rollover protection system works. Now, one other thing about the seatbelt is that you do not have to have it fastened to be able to turn this mower on and run it. There's not going to be a speed limiter, but it is there for your safety. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the features over here on the left-hand side. Now these are going to be new to this year, is now we do have a leveling gauge that's on board, and then we also have this tool. Now, if you've seen the 2020 models before, this is going to be a very identifiable tool, as this is what used to be the pin system to change that height of cut. But now they have left this on the mower, so you can still use this for certain things, such as adjusting the tracking here on your handles and also adjusting the position of your handles. So that way you always have that tool on board so you can do those different things. And then like we said also, we do have that deck leveling gauge that's going to have a nice spot here in this storage container. That way you always have that, as it's very important, guys, that we're checking the levelness of this deck. Next, over here on the right hand side, now this is going to be a feature that was changed across the whole lineup, the E, the M, and the R. They have expanded the storage container over here on the right hand side, made this bigger, and put slots in here so we can put different things and keep things organized. Now, one other thing right here is that we do have a cover. Now this will only be a standard feature on the R trim levels. And then next, down into the storage component here, we have a 12-volt outlet. Now this is going to come standard on M and R models, but it is an option also on the E trim level. Next, like I mentioned at the front on the foot platform, we have a complete redesign here at the rear as well. You're just going to see a more modern, concise, sleek design, and this is something that John Deere is trying to convey across all lineups, whether it be from their large ag tractors all the way down to their Z500 Series mowers. Now next is going to be a feature that often gets overlooked and doesn't get talked about a lot. So we're going to talk a little bit about the transaxles and those upgrades that went across the whole lineup. So whether you're looking at the E, the M, or the R, just know that from 2020 to 2021, you are going to have those upgraded transaxles. Now you're also going to see an increase in the quality, whether you're going from an E to an M or from an M to an R. That quality is going to increase as you go up in trim level. So some of the things that you're going to see with this is an increase in weight capacity, an increase in braking capacity, and an increase in torque. So whenever you're going out and you're looking at these different mowers and you're seeing these price differences from the E to the M to the R, some of the things that increases that price is not only going to be these outside features that we can see, but sometimes there are things like our transaxles that are often not thought about. All right, guys, so saving the best for last, now let's talk about engines. Now, we'll talk about the whole lineup here, starting with the 515E. Now, it's still going to have the same 24 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine that the previous 525E had. Now, in 2020, in the M Series, we had those two options with the 535M and the 540M, giving us a Briggs & Stratton option and a Kawasaki option. Now in 2021, having just the 530M, you're going to have that one option of the Kawasaki. One change that you will see there is that it went from the FS to the FR series. Now when we move into the R series mowers, you are going to have that 530R, which will have that same Kawasaki engine that's in the 530M, but the crown jewel of this whole 5 series lineup is whenever we make it to the Z545R, where we now have this Briggs & Stratton electronically fuel injected engine. And you will definitely know whenever you see this machine that it is the EFI. As you can see there, it's stamped directly onto the engine, so no more having to deal with that carb and choke system. You now are going to have that more automotive feel, a very nice clean start, and like we showed before, that nice 3-position throttle system. All right, guys, so you've just seen all of the upgrades from 2020 to 2021 on the John Deere Z500 series. So I hope that you liked this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and give us a subscribe, as that helps us out. And also, guys, if you're looking for any other information on this mowing equipment or any other John Deere equipment, make sure to go check out our channels. We have tons of videos on there that you can check out. And also, guys, we're probably one of the best places online for you to go buy your John Deere OEM parts. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below where you can go to check that out. And also, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and go buy your parts at west-equip.com/parts.